Eli Corning, everybody. I know there's plenty of people here that are paying taxes. So take it easy. Take it easy up for Eli. I don't know about the kicking dogs thing. It's usually kids. You get 8 kicks before they die. It's fine. All right, we got another roaster coming up. This guy, he's a lot of fun. He does comedy at a lot of breweries around New York State. Just hoping somebody's drunk enough after his act to think that he's cool enough to maybe go home and have sex with him. His wife apparently did not want to do that because he's divorced. He looks like he drives a van with no windows. Mike Stewart, everybody!
So Eli, I guess we can't take this. Mike is taking the thing. We can take it. Eli, I have to wait for him to stop talking. That's probably what Kim said. So Eli, if you're gonna insult all the other comedians, word of advice, don't go first. Everybody, give it up for Eli Corning. Looks like Kurt Cobain, fucked Charlie Brown. But it's all good. So this is my first time in Garrets. It's a great place. And I noticed over the urinal, you have a sign that says, "Enjoy the little things." I don't know if anybody's ever yelled, like, "You don't fucking know me" to a sign before. So I think before we roast the candidates, we gotta look inward a little bit. And we have to admit, if you came upon an undiscovered country and they were having an election, and the two most viable, qualified people that were up for election were Donald Trump and Joe Biden, you'd be like, "Oh wow, is this a special needs country?"
No, it's Russia.
I don't think you need an election. You guys need helmets.
Yep.
And like the most peaceful person, like if Jesus himself was still alive, he'd be like, "You need to nuke the shit out of that country." Don't wait to see what happens. And so let's just get this out in the open. Is anybody like, no matter who's running, I will vote Republican? Whoa, okay, wow, G-Bird, you're far ahead. Okay, now here's the other side of the test. If who in here is like, no matter who's running, I will vote Democrat? No. Okay, there's a few people in here that raised their hands. I'm not gonna, call you out or anything. But I think you're how we got here. Just so you know.
It's cool. It's me. I'm good.
You're like the person who goes to a family barbecue and is like, "No, I only drink Coke. You're serving Pepsi." Like, fuck this. Like, guys, this is how we got here.
Yeah.
They both give you cancer, like one a year earlier than the other. Jeez. I feel like with this election, it's like you're watching a special needs school out at recess, picking kickball teams, and you're down to the last 2 kids. And the only difference is either one of those retards would make a better president than who we have to choose from right now. Yeah. The other, I can't say that. We all grew up in the 80s. Come on. We're allowed to say we earned it. How many, like, if you've been called a retard more than 10 times, I think you're allowed to use the word. By your teacher. Yeah, that happened. So I was watching TV the other day. Does anybody actually watch TV anymore? Okay, if you said yes, you're part of the problem too. And I think I might have been doing like a little bit too much drugs.
because there's a Spice Girls. Remember Spice Girls? Remember they made a movie? And I was watching it, and they made a Spice Girls remake. And I was watching it, and I was like, God, the first one was so awful. And I was like, why would they make a remake? And then I realized, like, oh shit, this is a remake of the 2020 campaign. Except now we're stuck with Orange Spice and Old Spice. So if my math is correct, Joe Biden is 81 years old, and Donald Trump is 77 years old. So combined, that would make 158 years. And if you flip that back, that takes you like almost to the Civil War. That's a wild thought. And I think if you sat them down and you like gave them some beers and you got them both honest, they would admit that they would have both fought for the Confederacy.
Yep.
That one didn't hit.
They both said
That's all right. All right, fuck. We're gonna roast Trump first. It's
Yes,
actually really hard to roast Trump because everybody's been roasting him for like 8 years straight. And it's hard to come up with original stuff. And I think we should recognize that Trump embodies the American success story of a self-made man who fucked Donald Trump's mom. And yeah, that was my dream. It didn't work out. And you know, but then he took it further. He created a $1 billion real estate empire by borrowing billions of dollars from his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. But he didn't stop there. He went on to embody the American dream of getting divorced 3 times and marrying a younger woman each time.
Yeah.
All right, not so popular with the older divorced women. Yeah, that's tough. Let's see. And, you know, I think Trump, you know, really thank God, he should thank God, because it prepared, that whole course prepared him, you know, and all the supermodels he had sex with prepared him to represent the Christian vote in America.
Yeah.
And he didn't stop with real estate. He went on to create amazing products like gold sneakers. I don't know if you guys have seen these. He partnered with Nike. They're solid gold. I think they call them the Aryan Force One. And he also created the Trump Bible, which in the beginning, have you guys heard this? It's $60. It's a steal. It has, in the beginning, it has the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and it has the Bible. So, if you're in a hotel room and you're having sex with a stripper, allegedly, while contemplating a presidential run, it's like the perfect product. And it's ironic because he can't pick it up without it burning his hand. All right, I'm losing people here. So, I know Donald Trump's a little bit down on green energy. I've heard him bag on electric cars. He said, you know, when you first get an electric car, the best experience you have is the first 10 minutes you own it. And you spend the next 90 minutes looking for a charger, which is ironic because that's what every woman that's ever had sex with Donald Trump has said. And watching Donald Trump, it's kind of like watching a Roomba with a stick of TNT in front of it. It's really entertaining as long as you're at a distance.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably living in Europe.
Yes.
And he's very famous for his one line, grab them by the pussy, right?
Classy.
Which I don't believe he said because I don't think he's into non-binary people. Okay. That's a stupid joke. And he kind of lost me with that, because not because it's misogynistic, but because I have a hard time grabbing people by the pussy when they're requesting it. So I just think it's bad advice in general. So now we'll do Joe Biden. 401 years ago, a great man was born on this great continent in the great city of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And unlike most of the other men born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, he had bigger dreams. So he forewent the primary occupation of Scranton, which is being a meth head. Because apparently that skips a generation. Oh, making fun of hunters too low now? Guys, he didn't pay taxes and he spent 800 G's on strippers in 1 year. So like, I don't know, I don't have a lot of sympathy. Yeah. And he also forewent the next most popular occupation of Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is being a pedophile. And instead satisfied himself with awkwardly long hugs while smelling people's hair. Oh, fuck. Can't even fucking read what I wrote anymore. Your beers are really good, by the way. And you know, he got into politics a long time ago, and he had to overcome a lot of obstacles, and he had to overcome diversity. I didn't pronounce that wrong. I mean, he got into politics in 1970, and people were racist as shit then. And I mean, we even, nowadays, we have, this is an exact quote from your current president. Poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids. That's like a 2023, people. So I think if young Joe Biden, before he began his career, went to a fortune teller and she was like, hey, one day you are going to become vice president of the United States, he'd be like, sweet. And he'd be like, well, who's president? She's like, yeah, you're not gonna like that. And then she said, but I have better news. One day you will become president of the United States. But I got a little bad news there too. First, how do you feel about depends? And second, you're not gonna remember any of it.
Perfect.
So Joe Biden gets bagged on a lot for being old, but I think he has a lot of wisdom to offer. He's been married for 47 years. 47 years. I tapped out at 16. That's like a third. In fairness to me, that 16 felt like 81. So I think it's okay. And I used to wonder, back in the day, FDR had polio, he was in a wheelchair, and I used to wonder how the press covered it for him, because nobody knew that he was paralyzed from the waist down. The press covered for him. Now that we have Joe Biden, I don't wonder so much anymore. Yeah. Usually when people chant 4 more years, that's how long they want you to be president. That's not their hope for how long you can live. Fuck, I'm winding down here. So, Joe Biden talks a lot about creating jobs, and it's ironic because he inadvertently created the worst job ever, and that's the Secret Service officer who has to defend the life of Joe Biden. Can you imagine, you're like a 35-year-old dude, like fit, and you're married, you got kids, and they're like, so you're gonna have to take a bullet for that guy. And you're like, how much time am I actually buying him? Imagine he was called to do it, and you're his partner, and you have to go home and explain to his wife and kids, that he took a bullet for the president. You're like, Jim was the man. He did what he had to do. He took a bullet for Joe Biden and saved his life. Unfortunately, 4 hours later, the president died. Because Jim wasn't there to chew his pizza for him like he usually does. All right, that's it. My name is Mike. Thank you.
You were great!
Mike Stewart, everybody! I thought that was funny. I don't care what anybody else says. He's a good guy. His wife should not have left him.
Nice job.
Thank you.
At least he